This video focuses on the cognitive development and emotional development in young children. The term cognitive refers to mental processes, and this can include remembering, producing and understanding language, solving problems, and making decisions. Cognitive development is a psychological field that was pioneered by Jean Piaget. He was a Swiss psychologist who studied cognitive development in young children. There's some important vocab you need to know when it comes to developing knowledge in young children. The first word is schemas, and this refers to a mental representation of the world that a child, or really any individual, creates for themselves. Assimilation refers to fitting new knowledge or objects into a pre-existing schema. And accommodation refers to when you have to change your schema because of new knowledge that you have acquired. Object permanence is a term used by Piaget to describe a child's realization that an object exists even when he or she cannot see or touch it. This represents a major step in intellectual development because a child realizes that objects are independent of his or her actions, and this usually occurs between the ages of 1.5 and 2. Representational thought is another term used by Piaget. It describes the intellectual ability to picture something in your mind. Piaget said that representational thought occurs when a child can remember and picture something in their mind. And representational thought is demonstrated by the delayed imitation of behavior, not the immediate mimicking, but instead the delayed imitation. The principle of conservation is another idea that comes from Piaget, and it usually occurs between the ages of 5 and 7. This principle is the idea that a given quantity does not change when its appearance changes. It's similar to the more adult theory of conservation of mass, but it refers to a child's realization of this fact. And it represents the ability to think about two dimensions, height and width, at the same time. Egocentric is a term that Piaget used to describe, kind of in connection with the principle of conservation, a young child's inability to understand another person's perspective. And a child is described as egocentric until about the age of 5 to 7, because until that age, a child won't understand the principle of conservation. Another aspect of child development that has been studied is emotional development. And what psychologists have found are two different things. The first one is a term called imprinting, and this is the tendency displayed by newborns to become emotionally attached to mothers or caregivers. A second thing that has been investigated by psychologists is referred to as the rhesus monkey experiment. And this was done by a man named Harry Harlow, and more or less his research showed that newborns cling to mothers because of the need for comforting physical contact, not because of the need for food.